With that down, let's move on to our first main topic today. And our first main topic today is submitted to us by Vegta Power, who writes, "Hey guys, not a great weekend at the box office for the two main movies, Men in Black and Shaft. Men in Black only made $28.5 million, and Shaft didn't even make the top 5 with just $8.3 million. Why do you think these movies struggled?" All right, thanks a lot for the question, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, both movies came out and sort of struggled. And, I reviewed both of these movies, Rob, last week. Neither one of them are great. Men in Black International is not good, but not terrible, but not good. Shaft was pretty decent. Shaft is pretty decent. It's got the laughs. It's got some humor in it. Terrible plot, terrible script. It's got some laughs and humor. Neither one of them are great, but both of them kind of struggled at the box office and came up short of what they thought it was potential. Now, we'd heard some advanced tracking for Men in Black that it could be as low as like 35, whatever. Came in even under that. And even though Men in Black came in first place, Men in Black came in first place this weekend. But first place for them was $28.5 million. Not what you wanted for an opening weekend for a big budget sci-fi actioner film like this. Makes $28.5. I think it speaks a lot to the fact that the trailers didn't really sell people on it. Secret Life of Pets comes in at number 2 on its second weekend with $23.8 million. Aladdin hanging in there, ladies and gentlemen. Aladdin hanging in there, making another $16.7 million, bringing its worldwide total right now up to $724 million. For a movie that a lot of people wondered if it would even hit 400, it's now eclipsed 700 million. This thing is a bona fide hit. Dark Phoenix drops 76.2%. Let me repeat that. X-Men Dark Phoenix drops 76.2% in its second weekend, dropping down and making $9 million. Rocket Man only drops 36%, making $8.8 million. Rocket Man right now is sitting at a worldwide thing of about $133 million, so it's not going to be in the same discussion as Bohemian Rhapsody, which eclipsed like $900 million. So it's not going to be in that same conversation, but Rocket Man's a pretty good movie. Shaft, opening weekend, does not crack the top 5. It comes in at number 6 at $8.3 million. Now, I'm hearing that the production budget on Shaft was in the neighborhood of $40 million. I believe that's what I heard the production budget on it was. Not quite sure how much they spent or didn't spend on it when it comes to their marketing campaign, but 8.3 ain't going to cut it. 8.3 isn't going to cut it. By the way, Regina Hall is awesome in that movie, but she's awesome in everything, so what's new? Anyway, Rob, you're hearing these numbers come out. Men in Black takes number one, but not the number one that they wanted. Shaft fails to crack the top 5. What do you make of these numbers? What do you think of this stuff?
Well, I think Men in Black is a perfect example. We were talking about this before the show started. A perfect example of what happens when studios make movies based only on spreadsheet information. And I mean by that, they look at a product that they have. They look at a franchise. Ooh, what Jurassic World made lots of money. What do we have in our coffers that we can go pull out and bring back that people like? Men in Black, 3 movies, beloved franchise for the most part. Sort of a law of diminishing returns, but still a pretty great franchise to bring back. But rather than, they do the opposite of what I would do if I was a studio executive. I'd find somebody, I'd put the feelers out to talent agencies or whatever and find out, is there anybody who's a huge fan of the Men in Black franchise? Maybe there's some director, some crazy, whether it's an A-list director or somebody that we can find to come in and do something like what Ryan Coogler did. I always go back to this example for Creed because he took the Rocky franchise, put a new spin on it, polished it up, and gave us something really special, including giving Sylvester Stallone a Best Supporting Actor nomination. You got to find that. You want to bring back an old franchise, you've got to find someone who's a fan of that franchise who's also a world-class filmmaker. F. Gary Gray, I really like F. Gary Gray. He did Fate of the Furious. I'm sure he was on a list. He does a billion-dollar franchise movie. Whether or not F. Gary Gray loves the Men in Black doesn't really matter. He can do a billion-dollar franchise movie. Let's give him another franchise movie. I don't know if F. Gary Gray was really the biggest Men in Black fan. You get Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson coming off of Thor Ragnarok. They got great chemistry. You got Liam Neeson. Why not? Everything looks like it's going to be great. The only thing that isn't great is the passion behind the filmmaking itself, which is ultimately what's got to carry you to box office gold. I mean, Shaft was probably a lark. I want to see Shaft. I haven't seen it. But again, maybe Tim Story loved Shaft, and it didn't quite work out. You were saying it's kind of an anachronism in terms of its humor, a lot of politically incorrect stuff. But they look at these movies, same thing with Dark Phoenix. It's like, Simon Kinberg deserves a shot. Let's give him a shot.
But you can't say that Simon Kinberg isn't passionate about X-Men.
No, that's true.
He lives, breathes, and everything X-Men.
But he's never directed it. What's funny is you got to have the passion and the spreadsheet. And when you look at Simon Kinberg in terms of directing, he hadn't directed a commercial.
No, it's a blank page. Yeah.
And you got to do both, man. You got to be a savvy studio exec that finds passionate filmmakers. That's what brings you the gold.
And we're seeing like kind of a disappointing thing. And by the way, since we're speaking about box office here, let's do an Avengers Endgame update in its pursuit of the #1 box office thing of all time. Avengers Endgame, for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, in its 8-week run, what a run, by the way, has dropped out of the top 10. Avengers Endgame made $3.5 million this weekend. As of right now, Avengers Endgame worldwide total is sitting at $2.74 billion, still $40 million short. Looking more and more like it's not going to catch a record. Rob, what a roller coaster ride this whole Avengers thing has been. Because I've been like initially, right up until the opening weekend, I was like, there is no way Avengers Endgame is going to catch Avatar. It's going to be huge, but it's not going to catch Avatar. Then we saw the opening weekend numbers, and I'm like, well, it's going to catch Avatar with that kind of number. And then now more and more, it seems like it's not. But anyway, right now, that's the update on it. Looks like it's going to fall short. We will, of course, all keep our eyes on Avengers Endgame on the box office.
Well, according to the internet, John, won't Disney just like fill up their coffers and just send fake people to buy tickets so they can push it over the edge?
I'm surprised they
Isn't
haven't
that what they do?
I'm surprised they haven't done it already, Rob. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. All right, with that down, guys, let's move on to the next main